Hello everyone and welcome back to Chronos Plays Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. Today, do I have any concrete proof? I don't know. I don't think so. Like, this is definitely concrete proof that he was trying to help, like, cover up Emma's shit, right? But that's for... like, a different case. Like, the only proof we have is Lana, right? But she's not testifying, because she told us. Like, didn't she? Yeah, she told us. Huh. I have no proof yet. Yes? It's no use showing evidence I'm not even sure of myself. No, Your Honor. At the present, I have no conclusive evidence. Huh. See, Aji? In that case, this court is forced to penalize you for your allegations against the chief. Oh, shit. What? Here's a tip. Never gamble what you can't afford to lose, Righto. It seems that Lady Luck was on my side again today. Okay, Aji, I'll give the rest to you. Objection? Oh, is that game over? I warned you earlier, Mr. Wright. This is an affront to the senior officer of the nation's law enforcement. Yeah, okay. That doesn't freaking... Objection! Yeah, objection. Thank you, Edgeworth. Lady Luck, Maybe we should have a word with her. Mr. Edgeworth, what do you mean? There's one lady who knows the real truth behind this trial. We haven't had the honor of hearing her testimony. A lady who knows the truth. Another witness. In the absence of conclusive evidence, the only other method of proof is in testimony. But Chief Gaunt has invoked his right to fuse testimony. There's still someone else. One more witness who can answer all the questions raised in this trial. Someone right in this very room. Mr. Edgeworth, who is this person? Huh. Why are you asking me, Your Honor? Have you forgotten? It's Lana. The offense is the one calling witnesses today. Mr. Wright, does such a witness exist? She may not be willing to tell the truth, but we can't just stop now. Yes, Your Honor. The defense calls forth... Lana. The defendant, Miss Lana Skye. She was in the underground parking lot at 5:15 p.m. on February 21st. Her task to dispose of the victim's body. In accordance with a certain someone's orders... Mr. Edgeworth? The prosecution has no objections, Your Honor. Very well, the court will now take its final recess for the day. Oh, guess I could've waited 3 minutes before ending the episode, huh? In 15 minutes, we will reconvene to hear the defendant's testimony. This court is now in... hold on. Huh? Chief Gaunt! Oh, I thought you were going to eat. Listen good, Lana. He's talking to Lana. I don't think you need me to tell you this, but if you accept Mr. Wright's claims, there will be terrible consequences. Hey, Judge! Dog? What the fuck? You can't just, like, intimidate a witness like that. That is against the law. That's right. Your sister will be found guilty for Niall Marsh's murder. This isn't good. Of course, you never support such an outrageous claim anyway. Judge, can you have this man arrested? Just something to think about. All right then, I got lunch day to meet. Judge, what the fuck? Okay, is there any further objections? This court is now in recess. Wow, Judge, you a dick. Can we file an injunction in this entire courtroom? Looks like we managed to stay in the game. Yeah, thanks to your help, Edgeworth. That chief! He's something else, huh, pal? Detective Gumshoe. I'm not a detective anymore. Oh yeah, sorry about that. Oh, don't worry. I've already decided where to work now. At your office. My office. Sure! I'll take the place of that top-knotted girl who you used to work with. Did he mean... Maya? Still, looks like we're all out of moves now. Chief, are you gonna be my assistant in the trial, Gumshoe? Because I hope so. Chief Gaunt's done it again. How's it he always gets the upper hand? It's not fair he has the right to refuse testify. Settle down, Wright. Remember what the judge said. But Chief, that is not a right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered. Risks? What did he mean by that? It's simple. If the Chief refuses to testify, the opposite also holds true. You mean he forfeits his right to say anything too? Oh, hi, Emma. Emma! Are you okay? Yeah, when I came to, I was in the medical office. I've been listening to the trial from the gallery. So she heard everything that's been going on. Emma, I'm sorry for what I said before. No, don't be. It was the truth. You know, it's funny. I almost felt somehow relieved. Relieved? Yeah, now I finally know what really happened. To think that all this time, my sister was being blackmailed by that terrible man. And she did it all for the nookie, but also to protect me. Ever since her appointment as chief prosecutor, everyone who knew her said she had changed. Perhaps it was easier than that way for her. What do you mean? What do you think I mean? To follow Chief Gaunt's orders. She must have shut herself up deep inside. To force herself to do anything and everything the Chief told her to. That must have been why she became so cold. It was all my fault. It was all because I murdered Mr. Marshall. You can't say murdered, because you didn't... It wasn't a you accidentally killed him, sure. Hey, don't go blaming yourself now. If you want to blame anyone, blame society, girl! Or pal. Chief Gaunt may be able to fool everyone else with his forgery, but he can't fool my memory. I remember now. I knocked Mr. Marshall into that armor. I see. Well, we better get back. It's time for the final act. Is it, though? Is it? Because I'm pretty sure this is never going to end. Emma, why don't you wait in... No, I'm going with you. I want to be there. When Lana tells the truth. Let's go, Wright. It's time to end this. To be continued. Today! Is it going to end today? Probably not. I mean, who the hell knows when this is going to end? I kind of want to finish it today. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to. We'll find out. I feel like it should be ending, though, like, soon. We're in the trial. This has been going on for a while. Kind of want a gumshoe by my side. Now then, will the defendant, Miss Lana Skye, please take the stand? Miss Lana Skye, you are the chief prosecutor. I'm sure you're aware of what is required of you. But Mr. Edgeworth, you already know everything. You know all that I've done these past 2 years. Please provide the court with your testimony, Miss Skye. And remember, you are under oath. We want to hear the truth. Of course, the truth. Lana, no matter what happens, I'll always be your sister. Now then, your testimony, if you will. First, tell us about your relationship with Chief Gaunt. Everything hinges on your testimony. You're the only chance we have to get Gaunt. Okay. I worked alongside Gaunt for years. There's no truth to this blackmail theory. You're already lying under oath, Lana, huh? I fabricated the evidence 2 years ago all by myself. When I found Prosecutor Marshall's body, I rearranged the crime scene. My only motivation was to get Dark convicted. It had nothing to do with Emma. Are you sure about this testimony? Your Honor, I'm confessing to a capital offense. Of course I'm sure. But Lana! If this is true, then that means Chief Gaunt has nothing to do with this. That's what I've been telling you from the beginning. Please, Mr. Wright, you've got to help her! She's sacrificing herself because of me! But what if she's telling the truth? She's not! I'm also psychic. I know my own sister. Whenever she speaks stiffly like that, she's hiding something inside. Deep down, she's really screaming in agony. Yeah, this is no time to start second-guessing myself. The defense may begin the cross-examination by pressing the living bejesus out of Lana. Alright, Lana. Time to be pressed again! How many years exactly? Ever since I made senior detective. Let's see, I was 24 then, so that would be 5 years. Detective Gaunt and Detective Skye were legendary partners. I personally saw them testify in numerous cases. He must have been good coming from the same school as Mia.
Demingant was a respectable detective, that's why.
Was. Not is, was. But think about it, Miss Sky. You didn't murder Detective Goodman. You told me as much yesterday in jail.
You still don't get it, do you, Mr. Wright? Any testimony you cannot present in court is useless as idle gossip. I stabbed Detective Goodman as with a knife. And...
Did you do so to help your sister?
Joe Dark was a serial killer. My sister almost became his last victim in that case. Or that day. I didn't want that incident to ruin her life.
But what she did was justifiable self-defense. She wouldn't have been charged with anything.
That's not the point. She was traumatized that day, all because of that creep. That's why I couldn't forgive him. Lana!
So that's why you fabricated the evidence 2 years ago? You say you did this all by yourself?
Yes. Would you mind telling us what you found when you arrived at the crime scene? Seems I was the first person to discover the scene. The broken prosecutor ward knife was stuck in the victim's body. Oh! What?
But Prosecutor Marshall died from the unfortunate accident.
That's only a situation you dreamed was possible. The reality is, it wasn't my sister who took the prosecutor's life. Fantasize all you want, Mr. Wright, but I'll never change the statement.
You mean Prosecutor Marshall wound up being killed by Dark?
Something like that.
If that is so, what happened to the other murder weapon? Dark was carrying a switchblade knife.
Oh, that was lying on the floor a little distance away. It was probably knocked away in the struggle.
That's not how it went down. She's trying to cover up her lies with more lies.
All just to protect me.
So when you found the scene like this, what did you do? After all, this is what everything boils down to.
Yes. I broke off the tip of Dark's knife and planted it inside the body.
You planted the tip of Dark's knife inside the victim's wound? And then you moved the body? But why? Why would you do that?
Oh, you of all people should know, Edgeworth. You've always had a good head on your shoulder.
My head isn't that bad, but maybe I ought to ask for the sake of the others. I mean... Yeah, so she planted the knife piece because she needed evidence, supposedly. So why did you move it? When you showed up on the scene, where exactly was the victim's body?
It was near it was where you deduced it, by Chief Gaunt's desk. But the body was found by your desk.
Why did you move it there?
The reason for that is simple.
Let's have the witness explain this in more detail. The reason Miss Sky moved the body.
The pieces of jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan.
Pieces of jar? You mean the vase?
Yes, that wretched jar you showed us earlier.
In order to... I fucking hate that they call this a jar. It's like unabashedly, like, almost just blind hatred for them calling this a jar. In order to... I know, like, okay, I'm sure vases can be referred to as jars, but it is just like... Oh... It makes all my muscles in my body tense up for some reason.
In order to show that Dark committed the crime, I felt it would be more evident to move the body.
So, you first found the body, the jar was already...
Of course, it had been shattered to pieces. If you looked at the crime scene, it would be clear right away what happened. Now Marshall was dead and Dark was lying unconscious. In other words, the jar must have been broken during the struggle.
Yet we keep seeing him fall in that armor. I see. What's the matter, Emma?
Apparently the jar shattered at the time of the crime was committed. But I have a feeling there's more to it than that.
Like how your name was on it? There must be a contradiction there somewhere.
Anyway, I committed this fabrication completely alone.
Okay, press. So you arranged the crime scene. Are you sure you didn't do this to keep Emma from looking like a murderer?
How many times do I have to tell you, Mr. Wright? Emma did do it. Period.
Are you so desperate to hide that fact? You're willing to risk the death sentence?
She's lying! She did so I wouldn't be blamed for what happened. In any case, as a prosecutor, what I've done is unpardonable. There's nothing I can do to make up for my actions. Mr. Wright, my sister is lying!
Looks like she's determined to protect you in the end. She insists she fabricated the evidence by herself.
There's no way she could have done it alone.
I could get Lana to talk more. If she's lying, then she's bound to slip up and make a contradiction. Okay, so we said earlier that Niall wrote Emma's name on the shot of Voss, right? So it has to be here. Also, wasn't the contradiction? Weren't we told earlier that this thing was sticking out of his back, and now it's all of a sudden, like, I know we said earlier that the real killing weapon was like the ward knife, though apparently that's not it either. But I don't know anymore. Vaz. Miss Guy, I understand how you feel. You committed that crime 2 years ago to protect your sister. You mean the forgery of the scene where Niall Marshall was murdered. If that truth were to be exposed now, the past 2 years of your life will have been in vain. Even so, I am compelled to bring to everyone's attention a significant contradiction within your testimony.
A contradiction in my testimony?
You testified, and I quote, "The pieces of this jar, the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan."
That's right.
Do you have a problem with that? It's a simple oversight, really. You see, the message was written on this jar with the victim's blood.
Yes, the prosecutor must have written it in his final moments.
Exactly so. And this is where the contradiction lies. In order for the victim to be able to write his message on the jar, it must have yet to have been broken before he died. Duh! He couldn't have written Emma's name on a shattered jar. Order! Order!
Your Honor, it would appear more information is needed in regard to this jar and its bloody message. We have missed something critical here.
Something critical?
Chief Prosecutor, it seems you're as in the dark as we are about the truth towards which we're headed. What? Just tell us exactly what you saw. We'll piece together the information to arrive at the truth.
Very well. The witness may now continue her testimony. Okay. Jar and message in blood.
We only noticed the blood traces on the jar, but it was dark in the room and I didn't have time to check it out. To be safe, I wiped away the blood. The fragments were large, so I'm sure I got up them all. All I could think about was wiping them clean before they were discovered.
You mean you were the one who wiped away the blood message? Or message in blood?
I wasn't Chief Prosecutor at the time. She didn't think Dark was the real murderer. That's why she tried to erase the real evidence.
Very well. The defense may now begin its cross-examination. Alright. Sure. Press. So the jar was already broken.
It's a miracle that thing hadn't broken earlier.
It certainly looks so feeble as the defense's case. Wow. Phoenix, we gotta cut his break after this. Not as feeble as the judge's judgment. Should have said that out loud. You were an ace detective who never missed detail. Do you really expect us to believe you didn't investigate what was written on the jaw pieces?
Normally I would have. But it was dark in the room and I didn't have time.
So you didn't know your sister's name was written on the jar?
No. If I had known, I would have gathered all the pieces and ground them to dust.
Well, that helps my case.
Lana, you do that for me?
It seems you two might make up yet.
Anyway, I just barely had enough time to move the body.
If someone happened to pawn the scene, you'd lose your chance to erase the evidence.
You must have been in a hurry. I was. I knew I had to destroy the evidence before anyone came.
This is rather shocking. I'm afraid this action of yours reveals what really happened. What do you mean? If you really thought Dark killed Prosecutor Marshall, you wouldn't have wiped away the blood.
What else could I have done in this situation? Lana, I only had a few moments. There wasn't enough time for me to do anything else but to gather up the pieces.
Okay. But how could you see with the power out? It must have been a pitch black in that office.
A detective is always prepared, Mr. White, right? Even now, I always carry a pocket light and a camera with me. Even I carry a bottle of emergency luminol wherever I go. Most because I'm a weirdo. I never guessed anything. I never miss anything. I got every last piece.
So you illegally rearranged the crime scene?
Yes. I don't have any excuse for my action. I'm so sorry, Lana. I didn't know. I treated you so badly all this time.
It's not too late. There's still plenty of time to make up. I mean, what's generally the sentence for, like, forging evidence for a murder? It's pretty high, yeah? After we've gotten to the bottom of this incident. I doubt this day will leave a permanent stain. Oh, no doubt. No doubt this day will leave a permanent stain on the prosecutor's office.
More contradictions have to surface in her testimony.
Your sister's really putting up a fight. She must really care about you. Still, she's not doing this the right way. I think I've finally figured out the contradiction in her testimony. There's one final possibility that might turn everything around. What? What's the contradiction? That it was broken? I mean... It has to be, right? It makes no sense. Because they weren't very large pieces, to be quite honest. They were large enough, I guess, but... Yeah. Yeah. Miss Sky, I believe this jar conceals the truth even you are unaware of.
What?
We found the final piece of this jar in Chief Gaunt's safe.
In the chief's safe? But how?
I knew it. She really didn't know. There's something even more disturbing about that final piece. There was... still blood on it. But the witness just testified. She gathered every last piece and wiped the blood off of them. Yeah, which leaves us with only one explanation. On the night the Prosecutor Marshall was murdered, you were not the first one to show up on the scene. Chief Gaunt was there before you. But couldn't the defendant have simply missed the piece? I'm afraid that's unlikely. The pieces are too big for anyone to miss, let alone an ace detective. That may well be, but everyone makes mistakes. Even I once wasted an entire day looking for my dentures. They were in my mouth all along. Okay. Objection. My mom has done that. Like, even before she had the brain aneurysm, she's definitely done that with her glasses and her teeth. I know it probably shouldn't be out of my mom like that, but at the same time, she's come up to me and she's like, have you seen my glasses anywhere? I'm like, yeah. You're wearing them? I mean, I've done that too, right? I've looked everywhere for my keys and wallet once. I panicked once because I thought I threw out my wallet again. What do you mean again, Chronos? Yes, I threw out my wallet once. It's awful because I had to get everything replaced. Credit cards, ID, yeah, it was bad. But, oh man, how'd you even do that, Chronos? Well, so we had a bit of like a flea problem with the dog, so I was doing like frontline for the cats and the dogs. This was like 6 years ago. And instead of like leaving the wrappers around because there's poison on them, I put them in a bag so I throw it out. Now, because I'm stupid, like I also had my keys and stuff like that, and I put my keys down and I accidentally put my wallet in the bag full of the poison, like the frontline stuff, and I threw that out, and it sucked horribly. I don't even know, to this day, I don't know how we had that problem. I know Casey's an asshole and he likes to roll around in the dirt. He's the one that brought him in. But at the same time, like, we had never had any sort of problem with fleas up until that year. Oh, it was awful. Like, oh man. I covered this house in so much... Anyways, have you forgotten, Your Honor? When this witness arrived at the scene, the jar was already broken. Oh, that. There's no way a name could have been written on the shattered jar. Another person discovered the scene prior to the witness. I hope you're not implying this person was Chief Gaunt. At the time, he was looking for Dark downstairs. Besides, even if he was there first, why would he break the jar? The question is, if he did arrive there first, why did he hide that fact for 2 years? Well, Your Honor, can you answer that, you asshole? No. Wait, I'm not the one on trial here. God damn it. Damon Gaunt arrived at the crime scene prior to the witness. He proceeded to break this jar and purposely hid one of the broken pieces. Question, what is this action called? Fabrication of evidence. But why would Chief Gaunt do that? In light of what happened afterwards, isn't it clear? What happened afterwards? Discovering the scene, Lana Sky believed her sister, Emma, killed the victim. Determined to help her sister, she sought Gaunt's aid. Lending her his aid, Gaunt helped her create evidence to incriminate Dark, sparing Emma. And therein lies the reason why Miss Sky became the Chief's puppet. Ah! You bit your thumb to the point it bled! Why would you do that? Are you summoning? I've seen Naruto! They do that there too, and it's uncomfortable every time! No, I did it on my own. Please, sis, stop trying to protect the Chief! I can't watch you suffer anymore for my sake! No, you didn't! It wasn't you, Emma! You didn't kill anyone! Don't believe anything Mr. Wright says! Defense attorneys make up the most foul lies to defend their clients! Foul lies? Imagine that coming from my own client. I guess you do seem the type who looks to twist the truth. Dots? Wait a minute. What if... we're still smack dab in the middle of Gaunt's trap? Is something wrong, Mr. Wright? Lana, may be right after all. What do you mean, Mr. Wright? Don't tell me, so you do tell foul lies then, Mr. Wright? Only when I'm getting paid. Miss Sky, please testify once more. But, if evidence was fabricated behind your back, then Emma's accidental murder, a killing of Prosecutor Marshall, might also be a lie. But I do remember knocking over Mr. Marshall. Miss Sky, if you will. Thoughts? I can't. There's nothing to be afraid of anymore. This cross-examination may not change a thing. However, there is a possibility that it will, if you tell the truth. Very well. I'll testify about what I really saw. Alright, the witness may testify once more for the final time. Oh, is it really the final time? Actual crime scene. I mean, if this is the final time, that's it for this episode. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the episode, press the like button below if you're not subscribed yet. Why do you have my videos so I can check out some of the content, see if it's you're liking? Once again, thank you for watching. Hope you all have a great day.